So another day, another video where I talk about how I changed my mind. um, all writers go through periods like this. Everyone goes through the period of this mass confusion, not knowing what they're doing, and they have to kind of flounder around to figure out what's going on. I'm no different, and you often want to be careful about, in this period of time, you want to be careful about making very rash decisions. When writers go through a state of confusion, that's often when we tend to throw whole sections of our stories out that are workable. We give up on projects, etc. We do these very big, drastic actions. And what I want to suggest is that you need to focus less on changing the big things and instead focus on changing up the small things. A lot of people tend to do the reverse. They tend to be very, very committal to the small things, but will go around and change their big picture things all the time. In this state, it's very easy to do that. It's very easy to start, basically destroying lots of really good work in our sort of haste of confusion to start over, to need something new, to kind of get out of the scenario that we're in. And instead, what I would encourage you, though, to do is to focus on the smaller things, which is what I'm about to get into now for me. So today was very eye-opening in that I've basically decided to focus a lot more on dialing in my work. I talked yesterday about how I was going to work on sending my manuscript off for another competition here at the end of the week, and I've decided to hold off on it. So I'm going to hold off on that. I am making a decision to not go forward. The reason why is going through the manuscript today, reading through it. It gave me sort of a weird notion. I came up with this idea and realization that the voice of my first protagonist, the main character you read for the first couple of chapters, sounds a bit too passive. They're just not. Their prose is not quite engaging. Their voice is not quite engaging. I deliberately try to make them a character that had a very unique voice, and they're someone who is very passive just as a character. The character themselves is very, 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 very passive. In fact, their entire arc is going from being sort of a doormat for their family especially, but for others, and kind of going going way to the extreme, way too much to the other end, without spoiling anything. So the prose in the beginning, I wanted to make him sound very meek, very, very someone that's sort of trampled upon. And unfortunately, what I've realized is that in doing that, I wrote them in a way that makes their voice sound too passive and too unengaging. It's very paradoxical, right? You want a passive character, but you don't want their voice to sound passive. And if you're a writer, you know what I'm talking about. When you want characters to be sort of the underdog, but also you want to make them worth reading, so someone is at least unique enough to follow. All this is to say that I've decided that I'm going to do basically a rewrite, especially of his sections. Just going to rewrite a lot of the prose side of things. Structurally, everything will be the same, and for the most part, this is just making their voice sound a bit more active, a bit more engaging. But with that also is going to entail that I put all these other projects aside. So, again, very, very big decision on that. But again, we're tweaking the small things, right? We're putting a lot of these other side projects aside to focus on the big project, right? The novel is always the biggest project here. And as much as I thought that it was complete, it was done. Time has a way of separating yourself from your work and has a way of making you be able to come back to it later on with more fresh eyes and realize it's good, but now you could probably improve it by 10 10 or 15% if you decided to do a bit of an overhaul and dedicate a few months to really reworking it. So that's going to be the plan. So we're changing things up a little bit here. All these other side projects with the short stories, those can wait. I got plenty done anyways. For now, we got to focus on the big ticket items, the big payoff, right? Potentially getting this story maybe 10 or 15% better than what it is. That could be huge. Like that could be a big difference right there, especially when I was already getting really good feedback already on the story before. So that's gonna be the game plan. Rest of the year, we're just gonna get this novel reworked completely. We're gonna try to get it to sound as awesome as we possibly can. So, yeah. Again, changing things up, switching things around, but it's needed. And beyond the fact that it is needed, the timing is right. Right now is the perfect time for me, end of the year, to get this done and to go into the new year with the ability to be able to query off this story again, but have it sound even more strong. Change little things. That's kind of, I guess, the lesson for today, in a sense. Change little things, modify the small things, but keep the big picture going. Don't confuse the two. It's very easy to do that, and especially in a bout of confusion, it's very, very easy. But stay the course in the big stuff, and just look for any kind of small things that you can make adjustments to.